Welcome to CJ Moneyway Media, a storytelling platform built brick by brick, where conversations become lessons and experiences become perspective. This is the mindset of a panther, moving with patience, discipline, and purpose. From podcasts to books to media storytelling, CJ Moneyway brings voices, journeys, and real conversations to the forefront. You're now listening to the CJ Moneyway Show.
What's up, my good people? Welcome to CJ Moneyway Show, powered by CJ Moneyway Entertainment and the Bleav Network, where purpose is the blueprint and legacy is the mission. Today's conversation is about something incredibly powerful, but often underestimated: stories. My guest today is Diann Floyd, an award-winning children's author, storyteller, and educator whose books inspire young readers to embrace imagination, kindness, curiosity, and confidence. Before becoming a full-time author, Diann lived a wonderfully creative life, working as a schoolroom teacher. I don't know if I would want to do that. Actress, singer, storyteller, and parent. Those experiences now fuel the characters and world she creates for children and families. Welcome to the show today, our girl Diann from Austin, Texas. Hey, how you doing today, Diann?
Thank you. And that was a lovely, warm introduction.
Nah, man, you a lady of many hats. Let's jump into it. Hey, so let me ask you a question. Children's books often carry powerful life lessons. Mm-hmm. What message do you hope children carry with them long after reading your stories?
Each book has a message in it. And overall, when they think of books by me, I want them to walk away and want to come back and go, that book made me feel good inside. I like myself, or I know I can do it, or I'm just going to really embrace imagination and be kind to others and figure out and look at the sky and the clouds and love myself.
So let me ask you. Let me ask you, storytelling and being creative, singing and doing things of that nature. When did you first come into that writing stories was something that was a part of you?
Excellent question, because I never dreamed I'd be an author. I've been singing since 4th grade on stage, like in talent shows. I'm not a great singer, but I love making people smile and be happy and everything. But one day I was working in the garden and I had quit singing because I have 3 kiddos. They're all grown now. But 2 of my daughters love to sing and they kept comparing themselves to me. And I didn't like that. I wanted them to discover themselves and surpass me. And so I quit singing so they could, not do comparison. So I was out in the garden one day pulling weeds or planting flowers or whatever. And a little voice said, you need to take the stories you made up in the classroom and put them to print. And I thought about it. And the next thing I knew, after I got all the mud and dirt off of me, which is one of my favorite things to be covered in mud and digging in dirt, I went in and I wrote my first story, and it was about angels. And then I kept writing stories after that, and it took a long, long time to get published.
Yeah, it took me 16 years to publish my book. But one thing you said I found interesting that speaks a lot about your character and integrity to me is that you said that you removed yourself out of the frame so that your daughters can grow into their own. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I had to remove myself because I realized or imagined that maybe I'm the stumbling block and they compare themselves to me. And so I'll just remove myself out of the equation, let them be as they're in the army. I don't really know how true that is, so that they can be all you can be. But we'll leave that one for another day. Let me ask you this, Diann. In today's world, yeah, I know that's funny. Things going on. Hey, in today's world of screens and fast entertainment, why is imagination still so important for children?
Boy, you ask excellent questions. Imagination allows you to discover who you are, what you can be. It allows you to just release and listen to yourself. So even when I was teaching eighth graders, sometimes I'd make them come outside, take their shoes off, and wiggle in the grass and just look at the clouds, and then come back in and write a story about how they felt, because they just listened to the inside and they got quiet inside, and they discovered that imagination that they might have lost and reunited with. That's important to me.
It is, because imaginations run deep, especially as children, saying we just thinking of being imagined, because we don't have the responsibilities as we have as adults. So your imagination, they say back in the day, just runs wild. And then sometimes too, we don't even know it, having a beautiful imagination or creative imagination back then. As you said earlier, I never thought that I would be a book writer. Me either. I didn't ever like school. I hated school. I hated you know what I'm saying? So I never would think that I would have a published book, and right now sitting on, in a sense of writing more books, so who knows, but it's the imagination and the things that you had when you were younger that come and fulfill your life and your purposes when you get older, if you stick the course. So Diann, I'm encouraging you as well. Continue sticking the course and writing these one children's book. I would also like to introduce you to somebody when I get off of here. He writes children's books as well. I think you guys would have a wonderful conversation about, saying children's book, the process, because you have something in common. He's a very nice guy. He's from the service. He was in the service. I can't pronounce his name because it's an African name, all of these or something like that, but I call him Major Pain. We had a good time. I would like to send you guys each other information, and maybe you can connect and just talk about children's stories, the way that you develop them, and the ideas that come behind them. And who knows, maybe you guys can have a joint project together. We never know, like God's design.
I would love that. Okay. Absolutely.
So, no problem. So let me ask you, I thought about that yesterday when I was going over the bio. I said, you know what, might be a good connection, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. So I just wanted to run it past you first before I did that. So let me ask you this, Diann. What do children understand about kindness and empathy that adults sometimes forget?
Children, they're blind. They love everybody. And as adults, sometimes we forget to do that. We can look at someone, we haven't even met them, but maybe based on their clothes or their hair or their beard, whatever is going on, they start making assumptions about somebody, and most likely the wrong assumption. And kids aren't like that. They look at each other and think, oh, a new playmate. Hey, what's your name? You want to go hit the ball together? I got a baseball. Play catch. Yeah.
Try to pass them a pencil in class or a crayon or things like that. And like you say, as adults, we to a certain level, maybe we start thinking of ourselves too highly than we ought to, or being judgmental. But I know that it says this, and this is one thing that stopped me from doing that, Diann, is that it says that don't judge, or you'll be judged by the same measures that you judge somebody else for. You know what I'm saying? And as we're talking about books and storytelling and this and that, and we're old enough to go back to this slogan too, Diann. It's they never judge a book by its cover. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know what's on the inside of that book. Right. And so let me ask you this. If every child could hear one message from your story, what would it be?
To love yourself. Because if you love yourself, you can accomplish a lot. And I think that's the heart of everything.
Short and sweet. She say, love yourself and you can accomplish anything, because love is God and God is love and God loves us. And so if you love yourself, you can go out there and tackle the world. And so let me ask you this, Diann, getting into your origin story. Your storytelling comes from a unique mix of experiences, teaching, performing, and parenting, as you said. How did those shape your writing style?
My writing style. Goodness. So I think about ideas, right? And I'm not one of those people that write every single day. Oh, it's this time now, I'm going to sit down and write. I let an idea bubble in my head. And then after a while, from walking or hearing a sermon or, whatever it is that inspires me, something will click. And then I'll know how to write the story. And then I'll come in and I'll just write it. The experiences come to me and help me. For example, one day, my youngest daughter, she was living with us from after being overseas. And she goes, Mama, come here. And she goes, I kept watching this little bird and it keeps flying into this little flower pot that you have that's empty. And the flower pot wasn't that big, but it was hanging on a post. And so she discovered there were like 3 little eggs in it. So we watched the mama bird come and nest and everything. Anyway, a long story short, over time, we watched the birds hatch, the mom and daddy take care of them, feed them, all the way till it was time to fly. But there was one bird that was too scared to fly. And we watched and watched it. And that whole thing inspired the book, I Can Fly.
I like that. I Can Fly. It was a song about that. I don't think he's in a good position right now where he's talking about that he can fly, but R. Kelly made a song. I can fly, I can fly. I can
remember that song. I listened to that. Yes.
I believe I can touch
the same generation.
Hey, so, unlike you, I know that I can't sing. I was in school and we used to do the fa la 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 la. Didn't really work out for me. Or playing instruments. I was not musically gifted and talented, I would say. But I did do a lot of acting. I was in drama school. I could act a fool. Now, that's one thing that your boy can do. And so let me ask you this, Diann. Your childhood growing up, as we were talking behind stage, you grew up with 5 brothers. Sounds lively. Sounds like, as you told me earlier about a story, somebody go get some cleats, somebody ain't gonna get no shoes. So how did those early experiences influence your creativity?
Oh, a lot. Absolutely a lot. But first, my brothers were well, let me back up. So I have 2 older brothers and 3 younger, and each one has a name like, oldest brother, big brother, baby brother, the babies, right? And each one has a story of how they inspired me in my life. But 2 older brothers were extremely protective. So dating really wasn't something that was going to really happen for me because they were sports people and they let the guys know in the locker room, even look at my sister, I'll bang you to death, Sorry. Am I allowed to say that? Sorry. But,
Yeah.
I like to, anyway, pulverize, I think.
I'll beat your butt. Yeah, you go get your butt beat, go catch a couple black eyes, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. We don't play that with our sister. She ain't playing kissing and all that type of stuff. We ain't having it. I get it.
Yeah. So for me, I spent a lot of my time in church and I had no problem just like Mama, she ended up liking this one particular grocery store that was further away. And I would say, well, Mama, just drop me off at church and I'll talk to God for a little while and then just pick me up afterwards. So I was just kind of a person that liked the quietness within the church. That had a lot to do with me. So it's my brother's church, etc. And, you mentioned about singing. Well, I went to private school till 4th grade, and then we changed over to public school. In the first 4 years, the teachers always said you can be or do whatever you want to be. And they never told me I couldn't sing, but I was in 5th grade. I didn't make the choir and I was just shocked. But the teacher was wonderful. She explained that I didn't sing on key and she let me try out again. It took 3 more tryouts and then she felt so sorry for me. She said, I'll make you a deal, Diann. I'll let you be in the choir, but you have to mouth the words. You cannot sing.
You had a little Milli Vanilli out there, Diann. Come on. Huh?
Yeah, so I remember plain as day, it was a PTA meeting and we were singing and there was a song called Hey, Look Me Over and things like that. And I couldn't help it. I saw all these people out there and I was like, they're all smiling and I want to make them happy. And so I'm like, lend me an ear fresh. And before I knew it, I was just like really singing. And she was like, I got in so much trouble.
Now that's funny. They say, hey, you, shut up. No, shut up. Be quiet. Like, no, I'm going for mine. Like Eminem, I just gotta go for mine. Oh man, now that is a funny story. Thank you for sharing that. You know, as you said, I was thinking like, you mean they were singing, you were lip singing. She said, no,
No.
I was singing. I couldn't take it no more. She said, I took the lead.
Exactly. And she was all ready to get on to me backstage until the president of the PTA came up to her and goes, who is that lovely girl that just loved singing on stage? I wasn't in trouble anymore.
She said, I probably couldn't sing, boy, but my enthusiasm and my energy got recognized because she said I was out there just, oh! That's funny. That is funny. So let me ask you this, Diann. Let's get away from the singing. You got me crying over here. Let's talk about the little girls in the moon, big ideas. What inspired the story behind that book?
I've been in a lot of schools around the world. And one thing that a lot of kids all have in common, no matter where you're from, is they like to pick on each other. And if a kid looks a little bit different, then they really pick on them. And I just thought, you know what? I need to write a book about kindness and love and do it in a way that kids can react to. So I decided to create the characters called moonlings that live on the moon. And the first book was all about discovering what a moonling looks like. And the kids saying, oh my gosh, she turns out to be so ugly. And I'm like, wait a minute. You were all excited about how much you had in common, but now you've seen her and now you don't want to be her friends. And it didn't matter what age, the kids all felt so guilty. And they walked away knowing, quit looking at the cover, find the inside, find out what you have that is in common and grow and love each other from there. So then when it came into the big idea that you're talking about, I wanted that book to inspire the beautiful message that the world receives from the love of our Lord without ever even having say, okay, you need to be a Christian.
Ellie's Eden, part of Azure Standard, was created for people who care about being thoughtful with what they buy, what they eat, and where it comes from. Growing even a small garden is a simple way to live that out. With healthy plant starts grown in Oregon from trusted non-GMO seeds, along with quality garden essentials, Ellie's Eden makes it easier to begin. Gardening helps you slow down, choose carefully, and stay connected to real food and the land. Learn more about Ellie's Eden at azuresstandard.com.
No, it's however you express beauty and love and with the Creator, it comes out in the big idea through the moonlings.
This episode is brought to you by CJ Moneyway Media, where podcast ideas become platforms. Through the Moneyway Lab Masterclass, CJ shares real lessons from the lab for creators building their voices brick by brick. From powerful guest conversations to storytelling that inspires growth. CJ Moneyway Media is about one thing, building legacy through stories. Learn more at cjmoneyway.com.
Music style.
I like that because what goes in you comes out of you. And if God's in you, that's what's going to seek out of you. But I can tell what imagination and creative stories come from. Like I say, we're around the same time frame, and I can remember the cartoon. I don't know if it was Tom and Jerry or something, but it was the Ugly Duckling. And he used to always put the bag over his face, and somebody would come take the bag off because they felt like they was too ugly, you know what I'm saying, how their face shone. But, you know, you never know though. You know what I'm saying? Because some of the ugly, like Stretch, you know, the lady, I forgot what they was called or whatever, but she was so, her inside though, you know what I'm saying? The things on her inside covered up what she may have been lacking on the outside, but it's the inner beauty that matters most than anything. So that was exciting to hear that you had a book similar to that, because that's what it put in the mind of. That's our creative thinking, watching cartoons. See, kids don't watch cartoons like we used to back in the day. Woody Woodpecker, the Flintstones, the Jetsons, and, you know what I'm saying, Road Runner and things. Yeah. Or what we say earlier, we really talk Green Acres. Anyway, let's keep it moving. So let me ask you, Diann, you connect with readers through school visits and education sessions. What have children taught you about storytelling?
What do they like about storytelling?
What have they taught you? What have they taught
Oh,
you about storytelling?
oh, they're going to be truthful. They're going to let you know if they like your story or not. Or so like there's Harry the camel. I used to live in the Middle East. So I wrote a story about a camel because I was always around camels. And so I really wanted to get back to Dubai and the beauty they gave me living there. Anyway, so in Harry the camel, Harry wants to be a horse. He's not happy that he's not a horse. So in the end of the story, he discovers he loves himself just the way he is. And so the little kids are like, I liked Harry a lot, but why did you give Harry long eyelashes? He has a boy's name, but he has long eyelashes. And so I said, well, camels actually have long eyelashes because that's what they use to keep the sand out of their eyes. And they're like, oh, okay, So
Yeah.
they really just tell it like it is. And what I really like is a couple of schools I'll go to where the kiddos really know me, and I'll test out a story and I go, so how do you think this story's going? And am I on track? What should I do differently? Or is it? And they're like, oh no, you're way off base. You need to, why are you using that character? This needs to happen. I'm like, thank you. That's just what I needed to know.
Yeah. You can learn from the mouth of babes, you know what I'm saying, one way or another. And I'm glad that you're not there in Dubai right now because of the things that transpired. Actually, I had a cousin who was playing ball over there in Dubai, and one of our senators, actually the mayor from Gary, reached out to the state senator and see what they can do to bring some of the people home from Dubai last week, I Bleav it was. And so they was able to get them up out of there. And thank God that they was able to get out. Thank God you're not there right now because it's not looking good over there in the Middle East as we speak today.
No, and
What's
I
today?
have many friends there that I keep in my prayers. So
Yeah, keep them in your prayers. Keep them. Matter of fact, today is St. Patrick's Day. So as we speak on this day of St. Patrick's
Green.
Day, I can't, you know what? I can't wear the green. I can't.
Mhm.
My wife just said something yesterday. She said, I'm going to buy you some green and white gym shoes. We were watching the Boston Celtics game. And as I told you earlier, I'm a big Los Angeles Laker fan since 1980. So I hate Boston. I hate everything about Boston. And I don't like green at all. I have nothing in my wardrobe that is green. I just can't do it. I have principles and I have standards, Diann, and that I can't do. So, many of your books focus on themes like imagination, kindness, and self-belief. Why are those values important in children's literature today?
Again, an excellent question. It's important in their literature because they need to be exposed to that. Sometimes the kids are rush, and oh, you have to be really good at this. And so they're like, okay, I'm going to beat Johnny at hitting that ball better, and so the competition kind of gets to them. And I want them to step back and go, life isn't about a competition, right? That's one thing. The other is when you can have peace inside you, it's easier to give peace back to others. And I think that if we can teach children to always pray for peace and happiness, that when they can grow into understanding that more and more. And as adults, hopefully they too will want to do some humanitarian work close to home, far away, it doesn't matter, but little things that can turn around and make a positive message and imprint into someone's life, and their peace will grow, and maybe spark of kindness will keep growing in the world.
I like that. I like the way that you frame that. Then tie that in back to what you said earlier. You was a young girl, your mother worked far away at a store, and you said, Mom, well, just drop me off at church and I spend time with God. And so it brought me back and it made me think about what the scriptures say, that train up a child in the way that they should go. And when they get old, they want to depart from it. And you just said something. You said, You teach the kids how to pray and things of that nature. So training them up just doesn't have to be in the church.
Right.
I positioned you as someone that was a forerunner in the church, and now being a school teacher. Now, what does that do? That puts you in the position to train up children in the way that they should go. That's just the thought that I had as you were saying that. Boy, he say that his ways are not our ways. Thoughts are not our thoughts. You know what I'm saying? So we don't know why he positions us or put us in places at a certain time when we don't understand it, but he knows more than we do. And so just keep doing what you're doing, Diann. Just don't be singing when you ain't supposed to, okay? And then everything will be fine. And so,
So I also like to teach kiddos that, and even my own kiddos, even though they're all grown now, is that start thinking, like, what is it that makes you happy? What are some of the things you want to do? And when I was a little girl, I always, because of the magazines my daddy and mama would get from Africa about what was going on and helping people and so forth. And so our miter boxes during Lent, and a lot of the money would go over there. And so I had always this need to go to Africa, but I didn't think it was ever going to happen. So the long story is that things that you think that you would like to do and you really want to do, the angels are listening, and everything happens it's my humble belief, everything happens in God's time. And so I'm all the way in the Middle East. And what do I get to do for the next 14 years? I get to go to Africa, and I get to go to 3 different countries and do humanitarian work. And they did more for me, actually. And so again, dreams can come true. You just have to be patient. Your mind has to be ready to accept the things that you're going to learn from it too and be open to that. Does that make sense?
yeah, it's preparation. First, you have to prepare yourself for certain things. You got to get yourself in alignment. I was just talking about this not too long ago. First, you got to get yourself in alignment. Then it's transformation. And then you're ready to fight your giants. Now, a lot of times we think that we fighting our giants. We could not be fighting our giants. We haven't even got to step 2 yet. You know what I'm saying? We haven't completed step 1. So we can't fight our giants if we're not prepared to fight a giant. You got to be ready to go prepare to fight the giant like David was. He wasn't afraid. He didn't have fear. You know what I'm saying? Because of the things and the steps that he took before that, So I understand you totally. Then doing things humanitarian, like, what I'm saying? That's the heart of God, especially living in a society. I was talking to someone yesterday about this because they actually have a company in Hades and they make shoes and leather bags and stuff in Hades. And it started with her from a humanitarian project that she went to go help out. And then it turned into a business, and things of that nature, and the heart that she has for the people. And so, and like I told her, I say, it's good to have people like herself. It's good to have people like you that still have a heart of God, because, man, we are so far from that when we're taken away from people that actually needs it. Said not caring about the humanitarian side of, people really need these type of the funding. They need these type of things. And so how far off base we are with that. But as long as we got people like yourself, as long as we got people, I believe that God is going to turn some things around. Because as I said earlier, his ways are not our ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. You said we be thinking or seeing it this way, but he said he sits high, he looks low. You know what I'm saying? I spent some time in the church too a little bit, Diann. I spent a little time. Maybe not as much as you, because I would not tell my mother to drop me off at church while she go to work. That ain't going to happen. Never happened. Never will happen. Say that I did that. And so... Diann, before I ask you this last question, just let me ask you this. Where can we find you at? Where can we find you on social media? Where can we find your books? Just where can we find Diann Floyd? And I'm not going to even try to pronounce your last name because I will chop it up.
So it's Diann Floyd Boehm, even though it looks like Boehm.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I was like. Boehm. Boehm. Okay.
So it's just DiannFloydBoehm.com. And for those listeners who just can't see it on the screen, it's DiannFloyd, B as in boy, OEHM.com. So my website, and I have a newsletter, so you can always stay in touch with me. And I absolutely 100%, if you are thinking, oh, I wish I could write, but I just don't know how to get started, I want you to know that I'm a person who believes that I've been blessed to be able to be published now after like 15 years it took to turn around and help you. I won't know all the answers, but I certainly can kickstart, and I don't charge a thing because I was blessed. So I have to bless you. So I wanted to put that out to your listeners.
I like that. She's paying it forward, and she's just not talking about it. She's actually doing it because she's blessing those because God had blessed us. You got to be in a position to understand what these type of blessings and passing downs are all about. So, Diann, let me ask you a final question. For parents listening today, what's the best way that they can encourage their children to develop a love for storytelling and reading? God knows my son do not like to read at all.
To read to them. To read to them. And also make up your own stories. Lay in bed with them when you're getting ready to go to bed and sit however you like doing it, sitting in a chair. But make up stories and let them participate. Okay, so let's make a story up about a night. Okay, what would you like your night to be? And let them be engaged in it. And the more the kids start being creative with you, the parent, pretty soon they're going to want to read stories about the night. Or maybe you want to talk about space, whatever the topic is, that encouragement from a parent, because a kid models, especially when they're very young, they model their parents. If a parent loves to play basketball, they want a basketball. If a parent loves to sing, they're going to go,
or sing what they supposed to. So I guess I'll pass that down to my kids that have 1 or 2 year olds. Because he's past that. My son, 15 years old, you said get in the bed, lay down, read a story. Yeah. I don't think that's going to happen at this point.
A 15-year-old making up stories, it does work with a 15-year-old, believe it or not.
Making up stories. I know I ain't going to lay in the bed with him. Maybe his mommy can lay in the bed with him. I joke with him all the time. But I know that he wouldn't want me laying in the bed.
No.
That's not inappropriate. That'd be very inappropriate. Diann, I really appreciate you on the show, sharing your wisdom, sharing your heartfelt messages and your stories. I really appreciate it. Hey, you can follow Diann and you can grab a book, The Little Girl and the Moon, The Big Idea. Charlie and the Tire Swing, How It All Began. Diann says she ain't hard to find. And if you want to learn how to write a book, structure how to write a book, things that you would like to know about story, Diann say check out on her website. And she would not only help you do it, but she'll do it for free because she's passing it forward, because she said that she has been blessed. And so she is here to be a blessing. Hey, you have been listening to the CJ Moneyway Show with your boy CJ Moneyway and my girl Diann from Austin, Texas. Until the next time, we out of here. Peace.
You've been listening to the CJ Moneyway Show. With real stories, real lessons, and real perspective come together. Remember, move with patience, move with purpose. That is the mindset of a panther. Until next time, keep building your legacy, brick by brick by brick by brick.
Music style.
Elise Eden, part of Azure Standard, was created for people who care about being thoughtful with what they buy, what they eat, and where it comes from. Growing even a small garden is a simple way to live that out. With healthy plant starts grown in Oregon from trusted non-GMO seeds, along with quality garden essentials, Elise Eden makes it easier to begin. Gardening helps you slow down, choose carefully, and stay connected to real food and the land. Learn more about Elise Eden at azurestandard.com.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.